No. So as I released this, yeah, stage 6 of the Veneno event has just been released. Now, minor edit, this video was going to be stages 1 through 6, but I am also going to stick stage 7 into this one because of the time it took of doing those first stages and Yak putting this together. So it'll be stages 1 through 7. Alright, back to me. And this is coming up to around the time where people would be able to possibly unlock it. Obviously, a part of doing that is the Lamborghini experience in the dailies event. This is going to be around the place for the next 22 days. And yeah, as always with these legend passes, you want to come in here with every single Lamborghini you have, for example, in this. And yeah, give a run of this to get yourself like a lot of tokens. But you need to do the 100 packs from this, which is basically just win the race 50 times. That's incredibly easy, even in the lowest rated of these cars. You can kind of touch drive no input this one if you're using something like the Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spider. I found like with a high rate of one of those will just win the race every single time pretty much and get you those 2 packs. All you need to do is put in the actual tickets to this. 50 tickets gets you 100 packs of these with around 10% drop rate. So yeah, you're likely to get quite a few blueprints from this at least. And then back to the special stage. Say, like, I go through all of the stages in this just for the missions in particular, because those side quests are the only things that could be any real bother, I think, for these. But I'll give one run of any of the stages where times might be an issue. One massive thing that you need to think about with this event though is in multiplayer 2 right now you get access to the 6-star Veneno. Stage 2 of this gives you access to using that 6-star maxed out version of this car, and also then you've got stage 5 which gives you access to a 6-star version of the Lamborghini SC18. And like, those cars drive incredibly well, but keep in mind that that is the 6-star version of those. So don't get lured into thinking the fact that that's how those cars will unlock. Remember that that is like, yeah, around 200 blueprints extra on top of unlocking it to get those cars up to that state, as well as I think both of them need 16 epic import parts as well. So yeah, that's definitely not the state that you're going to be getting those cars in. The SC18 even has the 15-year anniversary decal on there, which requires every single thing in this special event to be complete, which most players will not do because that involves having all the Lamborghinis, including the new ones, at maximum stars. Not golded at least, but max stars. But yeah, it's just a caution thing. Just keep in mind that if you drive those cars and you're like, huh, these feel really good to use. Yeah, that's because they're at 6 stars and absolutely maxed out tuning. That is like around 50 million credits and an absolute mountain of tokens away from doing with either of those cars. Don't get fooled in by that. They will feel very different at 1 star. But the actual stages didn't say, they're a bit weird with the actual tickets that they use. Stage 1 uses 2 for some reason, and then quite a lot of the other ones use the 1 ticket or back to 2 again, which is odd. But yeah, these all pretty much are just for the most part, like, the time is the only thing that's stopping you from getting any of the blueprints in this. There's no stargating in it. You can actually see the stargating that's needed later on in this one with the actual Veneno itself. So 1 star will unlock stage 9, 2 stars for 10, 3 for 11, and so on until you're getting to stage 14 in that. Stage 15 does just require 1 star with 300 conditions unlocked as well. So not too bad, but yeah, like, at least it is just a case of if you have these cars at a lower star rate, at least you can still actually like have a chance at doing the times on these. So what I'll actually do for each one of these stages is I'll do one run of the actual, like, the best time you can possibly do to make sure that you can nail that, like, 39 seconds, say for example on the first stage of the Asterion. And some of them it's kind of natural enough to do things like, say, nitro time, air time, barrel rolls and jumps. That's absolutely something you should be doing in the Asterion, especially on this Cairo stage. But there are certain tracks that involve things like doing 6 perfect runs, and that's not exactly ideal for getting the blueprints from those days. So some of these days you'll need to divide up, going like sub-quests and then the actual times. And there's other days, say, like stage 1, like, it should be well possible to do Cairo, get 4 jumps, 5 barrel rolls, and a fair enough amount of air time while kind of going down the right hand side of this track and still well get that 39 seconds, with most versions of the Asterion should be okay for doing this. Now, my version of the Asterion here is, yeah, 2800 rating, and yeah, not exactly an amazing car by any means, but Definitely on a straight piece of track like this Cairo Tower finish, it's just a long straight. The only thing is, like, in case you're having any issue with finding where there's barrel rolls and jumps and nitro time in this is, it's just go down the right hand side. It's really the best way to do it. There is one bug on this track actually, if you're in an incredibly fast car, not to go down this route too much, because if you go high on one of the jumps, you can actually get a weird 2 or 3 second freeze of the game, which really is nasty when you're in multiplayer in particular. But yeah, you just need 12 seconds of nitro time, and enough to do. Get your jumps, air time, and yeah, like the barrel rolls on the right hand side with this is nice and handy. Like I said, in a faster car this can cause a little glitch when you're coming down here. If you hit this ramp excessively high, it does cause the game to freeze up when you're jumping down here. But yeah, like, that's definitely not the most difficult in that version of the car anyway. But yeah, the like, you can definitely take off, what is it, 37.5 seconds there, and yeah, that's possible to do all of those sub goals, as well as like getting that time with 1.5 seconds to spare. Like, if you have a lesser tuned version of this car, maybe, I mean, like, that's still a route that's incredibly fast. I would still advise doing that. So 1.5 seconds, you should be able to do that with like 1 or 2 stars missing off this car, and yeah, be able to still land all of the blueprints from stage 1 at least in an Asterion. And yeah, these packs are pretty cool. It's like, they have around a 10% drop rate of the actual Veneno blueprints, so like, most people are going to get this car on stage 7 if you're able to do all of them. But I said I just wanted to do a video yeah, before that point, just to kind of warn on, like, maybe don't go too crazy with like investing in this car if you're not kind of prepared to spend an extra bit of tokens on this. And just to be aware of the fact that, like, yeah, what you get at 1 star is going to be well different from that 6-star thing you can play with now in multiplayer 2. Just pop back in to do my last run in that Asterion, and yeah, cleaning that up got me 34th blueprint. I also have all of the rewards from missions to claim on this one yet, so I still do have quite a few in the bag. But stage 2 then, you've got yards drifted, perform 360s, and 3 knockdowns. The knockdowns on this stage are incredibly easy to get right at the very start, because the AI does just love to hang around in front of you. But yeah, yards drifted of 164 is absolutely nothing, and 5 360s, easy enough to do that as well. So it's definitely, like, this stage is one where you can get that time and do those quests quite easily. This stage, obviously, you get that 6-star version of the Veneno. Like, again, it's awesome, but just keep in mind that is a 6-star maxed out version of an S-Class car. Of course it's going to be awesome. The Centenario is even decent at that. That doesn't mean it's a good S-Class car, though. But yeah, this Osaka track, you need 118 as well. For these 360s, they don't need to be like in the air or in one go as well. So if you mess up towards the end of this stack, it is possible to just knock out those 360s on flatland. Once you've got the time done in particular, remember the fact that, like, the rest of these sub goals can be done like in a separate run. So because I have the 118 done, it would be possible for me to just go incredibly slowly, just do the 360s, get the knockdowns to do that yards drifted. But I'm going to go for that 118 anyway, and just nudge into the back of these AI. Ooh, that one hit the parked car in an annoying enough way, but yeah, still. Just want to make sure that you get your 3 AI knockdowns already complete here before you break away at the start. And then just, yeah, I'm going to leave off doing any 360s until the very, very end of this. That's kind of the easiest way to take those last couple of ramps on this Osaka track. Now, it is possible to also do 360s in other places on this. I've said it before, you can use barrel roll ramps like here to do 360s as well if you want. It ain't the fastest way of taking them by far, but it's possible to do it. But like, this track is very forgiving on that 118, so if you did want to do 360s on there, or you can take the right hand route, and it gives you even more opportunities for it. But it's possible to do 5 360s on the end of this track with ease, so there's no real fear of it. Once you're coming up to here, you want to do 360s anyway, so that you can go on the left hand pad, I mean, sorry, through here, and then just, yeah, correct the car and head towards the finish line. You can get in some more 360s, so make that 118 even with that. like fairly brutal handling in here. As long as you're going on the left hand side towards the end there, yeah, you'll make the 118, and yeah, easy enough to get the knockdowns. And like, again, the time on this track isn't particularly difficult, I found, but I think that might be just the case of to give the illusion of the fact that, ooh, this car is powerful, it can go around that Osaka track with seconds to spare. Don't get lured in too much by that. This car is, you know, it's decent, but it ain't great. But yeah, like, definitely it's possible to do that track. And yeah, like, that wasn't exactly perfect on the rotation on the barrel ramp, because I was using the barrel ramp as a 316 ramp. But yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, not too difficult a time on stage 2. Stage 3, you need to break out your own Aventador SV Coupe for that. And it's a really nice car. And get 34.5 seconds. Now, this is one where, like, doing these goals and getting that time is possible. But if you would find it easier, just keep in mind that once you nail this time down, like, all you need to do is get the time down once and then do the sub goals. So if you're having trouble, in particular, getting those 8 nitro bottles at the same time, just like focus on getting that time by tearing down on the left hand side, and then do a separate run to get these things. If you're having it where you're getting some of the sub goals and you're getting some of the time but not quite all of it, just like ignore the sub goals for one run and then aim for the time, and then in the next ones, once you've got the time done, like, none of these involve actually a time requirement at all. So yeah, just come back in here again and just do the sub goals separate to that time. The shockwaves is one that I've actually missed out on doing once or twice actually, because yeah, it's such a short track, it might not come naturally to do a shockwave. The perfect runs is just a case of, as long as you don't get run into walls by the AI, you should get that one clicking off every time to get 3 perfect runs before the end of the race. 360s in one go is, you're going to cross that wharf, you've got 2 chances to do it. Either when you're skipping onto the wooden bridge in the middle, or else when you're skipping up towards the last part of the thing. And in the nitro bottles pretty much involves like going in a direct line through them. Like, there is easily 8 on that track. It is just a case of like try and get straight through them as much as possible. Again, if you have the time complete, you don't need to worry about the time at all, so you can just be incredibly careful and get the nitro bottles. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get that 34.5 seconds as well as the 8 nitro bottles at the same time, and do those 360s, the perfect runs, and remember to actually do the shockwave when I'm coming off the end of that, because yeah, that's important. Now, so San Fran here on Waterside, the only thing that's going to stop you from getting this realistically is the AI, and like, yeah, they're pretty good at doing that. But just gonna try and see if I can get the nitro bottles. If the AI push me away from it, I'm just gonna blaze for the finish line as fast as possible for that time along the route that I would take, and then redo this one afterwards for the the nitro bottles. But like, the AI will want to go towards nitros, so it is possible for them to get in your way, but you can get your 1, 2, 3. I have enough for the shockwave, it's just guess to remember to do it. But 4 shockwave, 5 up out around the outside here, keep on the yellow line. Missed 1, there's another, and your 3 360s in one go is right there, and then you can do another shockwave towards the finish line. 34 seconds even as well, so would get a 34.5 seconds. Like, it's a bit on the painful side to get those nitro bottles because the AI can just push you out of the way, but like, it is definitely possible to get like all of these goals in a single run. If you're having trouble drifting and getting into that perfect lane for the nitro bottles, like I said, focus on the time one time, nail that one down. It's not the worst in the world if you ignore the subquests, and then just come back in afterwards and just do these subquests. And like, you can just effectively let the AI drive away at the start and then just carefully drive down the road and collect those nitro bottles. Doing those 360s at the end is really easy. Perfect runs will count as long as you're driving the car relatively quickly. Below 75%, perfect runs don't count. That is just driving without hitting the sides of the track. I missed it one time because the AI drove me into a wall. When the AI grinds you against a wall, you won't get perfect runs. And the shockwaves, I simply forgot to do it a couple of times because, yeah, like I said, really short track. Not ideal for Shockwave, but it's not the worst to do it right at the end there. Now, stage 4 is a fairly short run in Himalayas with the Hurricane Spider Evo. And this is one where it's just going to come down to the tuning of your car really to be able to do it. Because such a short run, it's hard to do much other than just do exactly as required. 41 seconds in the car, 7 seconds of air is pretty much a given on this track because of the layout that it's using. Nitro time of 11 seconds is simple, and most versions of Hurricane Nitro is just near infinite. 8 stunts and the 6 360s, they're going to be gotten just as you go over the only available ramps in this one. Like I said, this one is difficult to do anything other than get it right because it's a snowfault, but it's just an incredibly straight track. And yeah, like it's just going to come down to your tuning of the Evo Spider realistically. Like where I do these is just with the one ramp normally and then the other ramp taken off to the left hand side to skim across the rocks. Let's see here exactly where I'm going. But yeah, it just needs nitro time as well. Like I said, the Hurricane Evo Spider, like that's one that's really has no issues with being in a nitro state for the majority of runs. Stunts are going to count as knockdowns as well, so it's not too bad if you knock down AI at the start, but you're also just going to want to use as many 360s as possible off of the first ramp, and then like I said, be doing the same then coming off of the second one, and just going to skim to the left hand side. So bounce the car, leave it in the air as long as possible, and then another barrel roll towards the finish. Sorted. It's such a short, easy enough track. It would be difficult to get that wrong, I think, with the car as tuned as it can be. But yeah, 39 seconds, so 2 seconds to spare doing the extra airtime as well there for that one. You can take it kind of a small bit lower, but as long as you have that car in a nitro state, like very little challenge there. It's just down to tuning of the car. But that said, like a 41-second version of this, you should be able to do that in like a 3-star-ish or so version of the Evo, I would think. Like that car is really decent from fairly early on. And yeah, you have the extra quest and just airtime. Like I said, it's difficult not to do that on this Himalayas track. And the same with, the stunts and performing 360s. You take that route I did, you're pretty much guaranteed to get these all ticked off in each run you do. Now, stage 5 here though, this is what I mentioned in terms of like the goals and the time being sort of not exactly a great idea to do together. And that is just that it asks you to do 6 perfect nitros. Now, perfect nitros aren't bad, but the SC18 is not an electric car, so it gains no real benefit from them. And you're in Scotland, so you shouldn't really be requiring perfect nitros too much here on this track. It is just a case of like, drive the car properly and stay out of the grass. But yeah, it is still possible to get that 105.5 doing all these goals and still nail that time. Definitely, it's just a case of it's not exactly ideal ever to do perfect nitros, that amount of them at least, while you're trying for a decent speed. Perfect nitro is when you bring the car into the blue nitro state and makes the car immune to slowing down effects from things like footpaths and gravel and dirt and water and stuff on the track. Again, on Scotland, you really want to avoid those anyway, so like it is just going to be a case of doing those perfect nitros isn't ideal. 6 jumps, 5 barrel rolls, absolutely you will get those every single time you race this. It's almost a certainty to get those if you want to do Scotland correctly. But yeah, 6 perfect nitros, that's the only one that's like a bit odd on this. But yeah, I'm just gonna, what is it, 105.5 in a max tuned version of this SC18. So but yeah, this Scotland track is cool, and it does really suit this car. It just doesn't suit that getting 6 perfect runs. So I'm gonna see if I can just knock those out at points where it's not that annoying for this really nice car. One at the start, all it has to be is a perfect nitro, like where just the car touches into that blue nitro state, even just for a second will count, but it does have to be done those 6 times. AI not exactly being too helpful here at the start as well. You can get an extra barrel roll if you clip the edge of that ramp there as well, as long as you just put 2 wheels up it at the side. But there's tons of opportunities for barrel rolls on this track. It is just a case of like, the only thing that's sort of annoying on this one is really getting those yeah, the 6 perfect nitros. Like, you do have a ton of barrel rolly opportunities here. Ooh, and a helicopter who wants to say hi. So I'm gonna avoid going further left there to pick up that other potential barrel roll ramp, but like there's some more you can get right at the end as well, so definitely no problem with that. And yeah, the time is like a second or so to the spare there. If I was normally just going for just the time and you were having difficulties on the track, I would stress again, just leave out doing those perfect nitros for one run, because they are absolutely counterproductive to actually hitting decent speeds. Just, yeah, focus on that time. But like I said, even with a fairly imperfect run there, I'm just like focusing on doing way more perfect nitros than is required. Yeah, that's still possible to do with relative ease. Again, I think this might be one just where they want the SC18 to seem really powerful, so the time isn't too much of a challenge, and just to give you that illusion of going, wow, this car is fast and really good. And like, yeah, because it's 6 stars, that's not how you're going to unlock that car if you get the key for it. Stage 6 in the Aventador J, absolutely class car. One thing about these side missions as well, by the way, for the nitro bottles, nitro time, shockwaves and stuff, like, keep in mind as well that they don't even need to be done in the Aventador J. Like, when the car, like when the race allows you to use any of these extra cars, like, you can just use the Aventador J for the time that's required for the stage, but then for all the sub goals and stuff, you can just use the lower down cars. The main focus I'm doing at the moment, since I'm just chasing down as many blueprints as possible, is just 2 shockwaves, 1 knockdown. If you get the nitro time, nitro bottles, that's a bonus, that's cool. But yeah, like I said, it's mostly just I'm focusing on the knockdowns, shockwaves, and then just nailing that time. 48 seconds in the Aventador J. Now do be careful with these, that skip button. 200 tokens gone if you click on that accidentally, so be careful of that. I mean, it is just a case of one press of A, and yeah, down 200 tokens. It's a bit costly for an accidental slip the A button. Now, just gonna do a different run of this, because I did one and got 48 seconds easily enough. But yeah, if you go on the right hand path, you'll be faster slightly with the Aventador J, but you will miss out on the nitro bottle. So I'm gonna see if I can go flatland, collect the nitro bottles, and still make that 48 time, just to save tickets on this one, because I have a feeling that you would have enough time to spare, definitely if you've got that car maxed out like I have here. So there's our knockdown complete, and an extra 1 thanks to that. Very happy AI. There's 1 shockwave, shockwave 2 onto that ramp, grab nitro bottle on the ground, and yeah, I'm gonna go straight forward here, whereas I would normally tend to go on the right hand side when you're coming off that ramp, but there's just 1 too few nitro bottles if you do that route, whereas I want to get the 5 here, so I'm just go straight through that. 40 seconds, yeah, there's more than enough time to get like all the goals here in a single run, really. 45 seconds leaves 2 seconds. Like I said, on that point where you're ramping over, there is a right hand route if you don't take that, which is faster by about a half a second. So if you're having difficulty with the time, I would advise like going down that right hand ramp. But otherwise, realistically, like if you've got this car tuned up, you should be fine. 2.5 seconds even with that route, so like you would be able to easily enough get that, I'd say, with the 3-star version of the Aventador J. It is just a case of when you're coming up here, yeah, just to, instead of like going straight forward, aim for those white bands there where I've got the car lined up with that yeah, man at work sign, and go down that right hand ramp. It's a fair deal faster, but the only thing is like there isn't this nitro bottle there, so you can't make that 5 nitro if you go that route, unless you're yeah, no, it would be just very difficult to do it. But yeah, like, easy enough run that you can do with all of the goals in a single race. So nitro bottles, nitro time, the 2 shockwaves, the knockdown, and yeah, there the top time is 48 seconds. So that's 2 seconds to the good, even taking that slightly slower route there in the 5-star version of the Aventador J. Taking a look at stage 7 then, and you've got the Centenario in the Caribbean. Centenario is definitely one of my least favorite S-Class cars. Real disappointment to get it to yeah, fairly decent tuning. The car just never really gets any better than it is at stock, and yeah, it's just a really expensive like credit pit. But the quests here for this are very easy. Just a small drift will nail that. 13 seconds of nitro time, you should definitely be focusing on doing that amount of nitro time in most races. Perfect runs just means not scraping the walls. 3 bar rolls, handy enough. And yeah, beat a time of 36 seconds. The other thing with a lot of these Grand Prix times is the fact that the tracks are quite short, so you just have to be careful just to make sure that you're going in the right direction to get stuff. Select the bar roll portion of this is over on, yeah, this left hand pad I would take to line it up. Because you do actually need 3 barrel rolls. So you're going to have to hit that one and this one, the beach here, for 2. If you want to get the things. Although you can clip the edge of this ring here as well just before the finish line. So it's not too stressful for them. Definitely a case of like that Centenario does not handle well in the sand. But yeah, it's not too difficult to time, like when you're even aiming for all of the actual things. They're actually scraped off the wall to miss out on the perfect run, so slightly sucks. But yeah, I mean, that is just a case of doing the run like a cleaner one would nail that. But yeah, 34 seconds done with 2.5 seconds to spare there in that car. It's not golden, but it's a very highly tuned version of Centenario. Like, that is a car that's not exactly the easiest to drive, but again, you've got like over 2 seconds of leeway that you should be able to, yeah, plant most of those blueprints. Now, for farming this one, I would advise using the Hurricane Spider Evo, and it's what I'm in right now. And yeah, so like, it's only the first time you need to get the time that you need to use the specific stage 7 car. Say, but the Hurricane Spider Evo has way higher handling and a better nitro stat, so it'll allow you to kind of navigate through the AI that bit easier. Or like, yeah, just hang back here to start, and you're gonna put the car in a nitro state, and yeah, just leave it build up the speed. But I'm just staying away from them for the first barrel roll ramp here, because you need 3 barrel rolls in this 3 barrel roll ramps. And like, it's possible to get double rotations on, say, the last one is not too bad, but getting perfect runs here near AI, like, they can really mess you up if they decide they want to like impact the side of your car on this corner in particular. Because yeah, there really isn't enough track to get like a extra one of those perfect runs. You get the last one right there before you would head over the finish line. So like, yeah, farming the rest of the goals from this, I would just advise using that the Evo, rather than trying to do the rest of them in the Centenario, because like, Centenario is fine for getting the speed, but realistically, like, its handling stat and its nitro stat make that a bit of a nightmare to try and get the perfect runs, especially with that AI who loves to kind of thump into the side of you on this track. So yeah, Evo spider it up just once you've got that initial time run done, definitely. Now, and that's the last pack from stage 7 on this. And yeah, those packs are very much set in terms of how many blueprints they're going to give you. I'm pretty sure almost everyone will be at the exact same stance. If you've got the, yeah, that special event farmed out and all of these stages farmed out, I'm at 49 out of 60. I've one more gold to unlock here, but it's just for nitro bottles, and I come back to that whenever I got some more tickets. It's not going to make any difference. I cannot unlock any extra things or bring me up to the 290 conditions. I do just have these to claim as well, which is 20 packs of those. So I'm expecting maybe 2 more blueprints from these guys, but yeah, these are going to be the same as the actual event packs. Very much low drop rate from those, and yeah, nothing from that. So we get a blueprint from this guy, and then nothing for the next probably, and then a blueprint from the last. Or just, yeah, there's that 50th blueprint in the bag, and this will be a nothing. Yeah, like, it is very much set. I'm kind of not too much a fan of that, where an event claims to be like, oh, you've got this random chance at stuff, and realistically the chances so low are just fixed that, yeah, you're really going to be in the same position as everyone else. So I did not get something from that. So yeah, that's at 50 blueprints right now for the Veneno. I'll need 10 more, and that will come from, like, yeah, tomorrow I will get the conditions for these last 5 packs, which should give me 1 inside there. And then the Egoista itself here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 and 8 from there. Presumably should be bringing me up to just unlocking that. So it's a bit on the odd side. The one thing though I would stress with this is, like, say, if you're going through the Legend Pass as well, you have to keep in mind that you're going to be getting a few extra blueprints from that. So yeah, it'll come in about a week to 2 weeks for that. You get 3 more blueprints there for the Veneno. I would strongly stress, if you end up coming up to 59 blueprints for that tomorrow, or well, today as of watching this video, if you're on 59 blueprints, like, I would wait for that Legend Pass thing realistically, if you're going to get them that way. If you are a free player in the Legend Pass, there is 1 blueprint on the upper tier for stage 32 of that. If that's the time when you're going to be unlocking that car, cool, go for it then. But what I would strongly suggest not doing, if you are cut out for blueprints on this, is this relay pack right here. That is a nasty cost. Now, the first one of these is actually a really good purchase. Like, 750 tokens for 199, that's always a fair purchase. I'm probably going to get this myself. The packs for this is just some of the, like, support Lamborghinis. It's not exactly anything amazing there. Oh, there's a potential of some Senna. So yeah, I will most likely get that just for the sake of, like, there is some cool cars in there, and mostly just for the 750 tokens. Now, Bob, yeah, and like I said, I may as well get that, because, like, 750 tokens, that's, like, not a bad price to pay really for that. But those packs that come with this, I'm not expecting anything from that. It's just going to be some trade coins. Hurricane Evo would be cool if you were, like, starring up that car. My main goal from there would be just the potential of missing the Lamborghinis and having gotten things. But you then get access to Centenario for 1,000 tokens. Absolutely would not advise that. 3,000 tokens for some Egoista blueprints, and 6,000 then to get access to the 15 for the Veneno. Like, that is 10,000 tokens to get 15 blueprints for that fairly meh car. Like, it's not a bad car, but 10,000 tokens is an incredible amount. Like, that's enough for about, like, 110 packs of Yesco blueprints in that Grand Prix. And, like, if you were to ask any player of Asphalt 9, would they rather to have a Veneno or a Koenigsegg Yesco, like, that Yesco is just going to win every single time. I will be able to unlock that Veneno because of having the Legend Pass and have all the Lamborghinis. But if you were in a position where, like, you were looking at these options to get this, if you were going to spend some stuff in this game, genuinely, I would say not the Veneno. It's not the place to spend tokens or cash. I would focus on the Yesco if you were making the choice between those two cars. At the same time, though, keep in mind that with the Yesco, if you don't have the key for it, you're really going to have a tough time in that Grand Prix, because you're going to be encountering a lot of players like myself who have the car unlocked already, who just want to star it up throughout that event and collect epic and more parts for it. So if you would be a racer who does not normally win Grand Prix and wants to go with the surefire S-Class car, the Veneno is there for, like, you will spend these tokens and then you'll get it. So don't go like, Storm told me to go and get the Jesco and now I did the GP and I sucked in it, so I didn't get the key. Like, yeah, that's not my fault. Grand Prix are always fraught with danger. This one less so for owners of the Jesco, because of the fact that, like, yeah, we've got the key coming into this. All we're going to do is go in there, blow some tokens on this, and just be like, wee, check out my 5 or 6 star Jesco. If you're coming into that and you're like, I'm going to win this with my 1 star Jesco, good luck to you. But yeah, do not be surprised if you do not win that car. But yeah, I'd say Veneno, I personally would not do this. I wouldn't advise it. In the long run, it's incredibly costly for yeah, not exactly a fantastic car. But then if it is just down to you're at 59 blueprints and you have this one on the horizon, just wait. It'll take you like 1 or 2 weeks to get access to it. You'll nab that blueprint, and yeah, say the special event is there for the next at least 3 weeks anyway, so you'll easily be able to take that blueprint, get the car unlocked, and go and do the next stage. And yeah, it's one that, like, again, I would not jump the gun on going with the Veneno, either by like spending real world money on buying those blueprints or spending 10,000 tokens. It's not worth that. And especially not, keep in mind that, like I said, in multiplayer 2 and in the event where we get this, the Veneno is at 6 stars. The one you get, if you were to spend your 10,000 tokens and you get the blueprints and you unlock it, you will get it at 1 star, and it's just gonna suck in comparison to, yeah, that maxed out version of the car. So do not make that mistake of like spending all the resources and then being shocked that that's not the 6 star gold version of the Veneno. But yeah, that's stages 1 through 7 done. In the following day, like I said, hopefully I should be unlocking that. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So that should be pretty cool. If this video helped you in any way, guys, sub button right up there. Give it a click and try and do all the events in this game. I've been sporadic with events in game recently because of like real life stuff, but I really appreciate all the support, comments, and yeah, checking out the community stuff as well, just to see like how many people are having crash issues. Sub buttons up there, appreciate that so much, it really does help. And there's other videos on my channel from up there for indie stuff, and at this side you'll find yeah, just something else that the algorithm thinks you'll like on my channel. Alright guys, good luck, drive safe, and happy Venenoing if you get it.